Hey guys, LQ here with the LQ Review, and I'm here with a movie review. This is my movie review for the Netflix original movie, The Perfect Date. The Perfect Date starring Laura Marano, Laura Marano, and the guy from All the Girls I've Loved Before. What's his name again? I'm going to look at my notes here. Noah Centineo. I don't know. Noah Centineo looks like. He was the guy who played in All the Boys I Loved Before, another Netflix movie that came out at the end of last year. So let's talk about the good, we'll talk about the bad, and then I'll give my rating, okay? But first, let's give a little recap of the movie. So Noah is a high school senior who's looking to get into Yale. But he needs the money to be able to get into Yale. He's got the grades, he's got the intellect, he's got the ability. He doesn't have the money to get into Yale. So to get into Yale, he, with the help of one of his friends, invents a dating app. Only the dating app is for girls wanting a certain kind of date. And that certain kind of date is always him. So for instance, if a girl wants a date to come over and act like a jerk in front of her parents so that the parents will like her other boyfriend better, or her real boyfriend better, they can do that. If a girl needs a date to make another boy jealous, he'll do that. So it's all about what a girl wants out of a date with him, and that's why it's called The Perfect Date. So there's always dates with these motives attached to them, and he falls in love with one of the characters in the movie while he's chasing another character, and he's also chasing some aspirations that he has in some other areas. While he's doing all that, while he's reaching over here, he's falling in love with somebody over here. So obviously you got your love triangle. In this case, you got kind of a love square going on because the girl that he's falling in love with likes somebody else, which, you know, is normal rom-com stuff. Yeah, you've got the love triangle happening. You've got a lot of the ingredients that make your normal romantic comedies. Some of the good, Laura Marano, she was very charming as Celia. Supposed to be this very woke person who, you know, is very conscious of modern concerns. And usually those types of characters in movies like this can grind on me, but it was done with a lot of subtlety here. And the character was just very likable. Laura Marano played her in a very likable way. So she did a very good job. Camila Mendes plays another one of the girls in this love triangle. Camila Mendes plays the character that our main character is kind of reaching for. She's the popular girl at school. She's the girl that all the guys want to date. She's the rich girl. And our main character is reaching for her when he's falling in love with somebody over here. So part of that love triangle that we was talking about. Matt Walsh is in this movie. Matt Walsh is just really funny, right? He doesn't have a big role in this movie. He plays the lead character's dad, but when he does pop up in the movie, it starts out. You start with the idea that this guy is kind of a loser, and not a very good dad. And as the movie progresses, you learn that, you know what, he does care. He is a good dad. He's just got problems too. And so I like that part of the character. This is a pleasant movie, okay? This is a pleasant movie. You have fun watching it. You sit down knowing what you're going to get. You sit down knowing you're going to get a romantic comedy that follows all the rules of a romantic comedy. And you sit down and you're going to get that. And sometimes a movie can know what it is and do it well. Sometimes a movie can know what it is and do it poorly. And for the most part, this movie knows that it's a romantic comedy. It knows the rules of a romantic comedy, and it executes them pretty well. For the most part, this movie executes the romantic comedy genre well. It felt very 80s, early 90s-ish. I feel like this movie would have gotten a theatrical release in 1994, 1993, and it would have probably done well and been a mild hit. We're in a different time now. Movies like this don't necessarily get the big theatrical treatments that they used to get. They usually go straight to streaming, where there's still an audience for them. And this movie is going to find an audience. This movie, I would say, describing this movie, I would say it's Loverboy meets Deuce Bigalow meets every self-aware modern rom-com that there is. And there's a lot of self-aware modern rom-coms that know that they're a rom-com, and they're following those rules. So Loverboy, Deuce Bigalow, cross that with all your modern rom-coms, and you've got the perfect date. Now let's talk about some of the bad. Noah Centineo is Brooks. I think I'm saying that right. Probably not. Noah Centineo is Brooks. He plays the character Brooks, and he, I mean, for the most part, he's a likable guy. I'm just not a big fan of the actor yet. You know, this is the second movie I've seen him in. Both have been Netflix original movies. And I don't know. He reminds me of that high school guy that everybody knew in high school, where he's charming, but he's a D-bag. Like, you know that this is the type of guy where if you start talking to him, you're going to be enchanted by him, but that's all surface. Once you get to know him, you realize that he's a D-bag. And we all knew those people in high school. And this guy strikes me as that. As just the type of person where once you get past the surface, he's not nice. He's not a good person. And maybe that's unfair. And it probably is unfair because he's probably a nice guy as an actor. But for me, that's just the vibe that I get when he's acting. I get the vibe that he's just a jerk. He's one of those guys that's all surface, smiles, very friendly, and then he's a jerk. So, sleazy is what I wrote in my notes. Sleazy, and I think that's the best word, is that he seems charming, but you get underneath everything and he's just a sleazy guy. And that actually rings true to the characters that he's played too, is that, you know, we're supposed to root for these characters, but sometimes I have a hard time rooting for them because they're sleazy. So, there you go. This is a paint-by-numbers rom-com. And sometimes it's a little too paint by numbers. You know, we start talking about some of the negatives in this movie, and it is very paint by numbers and very predictable. You know exactly what's going to happen. You know who he's going to end up with at the very beginning of the movie, because you just know. You just know. Yep, that's our female lead. He's going to end up with her. You know he's not going to end up with the popular girl, because that's part of that. You know that's going to be part of his story arc, is attaining what he wants and then realizing what he really wants. But again, that's rom-com 101, right? Reaching for something over here when what you really wanted was in front of you the whole time. So this is nothing we haven't seen before. We've seen this story played out lots of times before. Usually we've seen it played out better, but we've also seen it played out a lot worse. I think for the most part, you're going to walk away having liked this movie to some degree. It's not going to win any awards. I wouldn't necessarily call it a good movie. It's not a good movie. But at the same time, you can sit down, and there's sometimes when you can sit down in front of a movie that you wouldn't call a good movie, and you're going to enjoy it anyways, because it's comfort food. This movie is comfort food. It's a story you've seen before, made by a different cook. You know, this is food you've had before, made by a different cook. That's all that this movie is, and sometimes that's enough. So, you know what? I'm gonna give this a smiley face emoji on the basis that it's comfort food and it's nothing more. And I enjoyed myself to the extent where I walked away having been charmed a little bit by it. That's it. Nothing more. So that's my review on The Perfect Date, the Netflix original movie. Have you seen it? If so, let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. Hit subscribe on that subscribe button. And as always, thank you for being here at the OQ Review, where we talk about all the geeky nerdy stuff that we love to talk about. And until next time, thanks a lot.